at my
Oh.
workplace. So I'm going to have to request that week off for jury duty.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you get chosen for federal jury, though? I mean, or federal trial.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It says that they choose out of names, and I was chosen for just regular Court of Appeals jury duty, and that was like a year ago. But this time around, it's federal court.
Huh. So you have been on a jury before?
No,
Oh,
they didn't choose me that time.
Huh.
Hopefully they won't choose me this time because I do want to go to DC.
Yeah, you'd much rather be riding in Ubi's van to DC than you would in the Ronvoy than you would driving a bus down to downtown and back every day in hot
And sitting there
in the hot Phoenix weather. Oops, I didn't mean to give it out. Sorry. You want to tell people where you're from?
Yeah, from Phoenix, AZ.
Anyways, speaking of the federal courts, right around this time, it was 1789. I'm looking up in a history book that's appropriately called The Triumph of the American Nation. Right? They triumph of the American nation, like they've been conquered.
Yeah.
One of the first and most important measures Congress adopted was the Judiciary Act of 1789. The act established the basic structure of the federal court system, and it provided for a Chief Justice and all the associated justices of the Supreme Court. The first Chief Justice appointed by the President and approved by the Senate was John Jay. And the Judiciary Act also established 13 district courts and 13 circuit courts. So you're going to be on one of these federal circuit courts or one of these district courts or something. You don't know what it is or what it's about or...
Nope. I can't discuss it either once I'm a juror because that's illegal.
Huh. So you can't come on air and tell everybody what's going on.
Nope.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what? We won't even have to worry about that because you're coming to DC with us, and you're gonna tell everybody on the van, educate them all about this missing 13th Amendment on the way, and what that means. You know.
Right. We could spread this out to all the convoys with a flyer, and then we could have them all hunt down this painting and all that, you know.
Okay, so to give people
we could make a flyer saying, "I'll offer you $500 to find the painting."
Find the missing. Yeah.
We'll get them to find it, but we won't pay them because we won't put our name on there.
Oh, come on. Okay, this missing 13th Amendment, okay, it's, to give people a perspective, I found the 13th Amendment as it's known currently in our U.S. Constitution, and it's put in 1865, right? It's a part of 3 amendments that were the result of the Civil War, and they put this one first. And it makes, and you know, to think about the bloodiest war America's ever seen, I mean against its own people, and to rationalize that, it's kind of the easy way to rationalize it to think that it was to abolish slavery, that was why it happened. But that was just...
definitely, and you were right, it was the bloodiest American war because of 600,000 people that were, you know, that died in that war.
That lined up and shot each other.
Compared to any other war that America was in, it's by far the bloodiest American war.
And so the abolishment of slavery was only one amendment that resulted from it, and it wasn't even the reason why the war began, was it? It was about
Nope.
states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
And the federal
And
government
it's
was infringing upon states' rights because of, the market, right? They were affecting the market. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is the 13th Amendment makes no sense during 1965, the one that they replaced, the original with,
1865, yeah.
because it makes no sense because the North, they did not plan to abolish slavery. I mean, there were a lot of abolitionists, but I mean, the war really started because in 1830s, the North was tariffing the South, and that was even illegal because it was considered an act of war to tariff another state
Yeah.
or country.
What's up with that?
And they were tariffing the South. They were strangling the South's economy because they wanted control of the economy.
It would be like that's kind of like
North.
That's kind of like putting right, and that's kind of like putting sanctions on other countries to bring down their standard of living and their economy and slow down
That's
their.
exactly right.
And so it appears as though these bankers from the North, like somehow infiltrated our governmental system early on, and this 13th Amendment would have kept that from happening any further. And it was ratified around. It was supposedly ratified by at least 12 states around 1811. Am I right?
12 states were ratified between 1810 and 1812. And Virginia is the big mystery because it was either ratified during the war and the records were stolen or lost or, whatever. Fill in the blank, but it could have been ratified during the war. And then there's another theory that it was ratified in 1819.
Oh, and then, okay, so that would be a second the Virginia that's a Virginia ratified in 1819.
That's where it gets confusing because it's their word versus the other side's word.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Because it could have been ratified during the War of 1812, and these bankers, who were the ones that propelled us into a revolutionary war against them and England because they were monopolizing the American government, began the 1812 war that way because we wanted independence economically. And they could have been behind the removal of records in Virginia State if Virginia did ratify it.
It's right
during
there
the war.
Next to D.C.
Because they did still, you gotta remember, they did still have their lawyers and they did still have their politicians that were bought and paid for, that were sort of embedded in our government during the war.
Just like the papal mayors were spread out all over Europe.
So that's where there's a confusion there, and I don't know. I really don't know. We gotta search for this because it's something to find out.
Something happens between 1812 and 1865, where this either this amendment was never completely ratified by the states, or it was ratified at some point and then disappeared. And the 13th Amendment, as it's known now, it reads, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." It's basically abolishing slavery. And then in the second section it says, Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. That means they can't make laws about it? I mean, they can't change it?